All right, let's go back to JFK Airport Live here in New York City. Look at how those protests have grown there tonight throughout the hours. This, of course, in response to the president's travel ban and two Iraqi men detained earlier today at JFK despite having valid visas to come into the United States. CNN's Rachel Crane is with us again. Rachel, what are you learning about the second Iraqi man who was detained?
Well, Poppy, we learned that the second Iraqi man that was detained has now, at this point, been released nearly 24 hours after he was first taken in to be interrogated. Now, there has been a protest that has been happening here all day long, but it has grown substantially. I mean, there's probably 1,000 people that are over there, and people bringing homemade signs. You can see behind me people's homemade signs, but also people bringing projectors, projecting on the side of buildings. We can see right there it says resist on the side of the parking structure. Also people pouring out of the parking lot. All of these protesters, they have been peaceful throughout the evening, but they are now blocking traffic. I don't know if you can see behind me, but there's a long line of cars that are trying to get through. They're not able to get through because these protesters are now in the middle of the street. Now they are demanding that the detainees across the country at airports be released. They're also demanding that Donald Trump reverse this executive order and this ban on immigration. But as you can see behind me, people incredibly passionate about this cause here. And but we have to say, it has been pretty cold today, but that has not stopped people coming by the hundreds here to protest and make their voices heard. Poppy.
Rachel Crane, thank you so much for the reporting all through the night. Meantime, the president's executive order specifically prohibits people from coming from these 7 countries: Libya, Sudan, Somalia, Yemen, Iraq, and Iran, and Somalia. Washington Governor Jay Inslee has seen firsthand some of the problems that he says this travel ban is causing. He joins me on the phone. Thank you for being with me, sir.
You bet. Thanks for caring about this.
I think all of America does. We're trying to see sort of what the repercussions are. I've talked to a lot of Trump voters over the past few months who wanted to see something like this. And then we just saw in the last report at JFK those that do not want to see it, that are protesting it. You called the White House a few hours ago about the ban. Can you tell me about that conversation?
Well, it's brief. I just talked to our governmental liaison person and basically told him that the chaos and cruelty of this executive order is being experienced firsthand in my state at Seattle International Airport. And when I say cruelty, I mean cruelty. These are people that the administration allowed to get on an airplane, said it was okay to come. I met a woman whose husband got an airplane from Vienna to come to be with her, which was approved, and then, 6 feet from being able to embrace, sent him into confinement and sent him somewhere else, and they wouldn't even tell the family where they sent him. So they put him on an airplane. They won't even tell the family where he went. These people are the people who are subject to this. Might be software engineers. They might be doctors who've gone somewhere, now want to get home, and they're prohibited from getting home. It is extremely inhumane. It is cruel, and it is unconstitutional. And by the way, it's clear discrimination based on religion. Look, the fact that we have a president who's discriminated against a religious group is just unbelievable.
So the president, for his part, said earlier today this is not a Muslim ban. And a constitutional attorney I just spoke with said to me, look, he personally doesn't like this, but he believes that the Trump administration has a lot of legal ground to stand on because the courts really give the president a lot of, discretion when it comes to immigration law. I mean, President Obama used part of the law to try to argue that he could make these, executive orders on immigration himself.
Well, 2 things. One, it is unconstitutional to base federal decisions based on religion, and this executive order clearly does that. Not only does it's just a masqueraded ban for Muslims. It picked 7 Muslim-dominated countries, and that's the only countries it took. And then in the order also said that Muslims are at the bottom of the barrel, that people who happen to be Christian were going to get the ability to come in when Muslims do not. Look, this is a thinly disguised effort. We know the predilections of this president. He said he wanted a ban on Muslims. He has a ban that essentially will allow Christians in and Muslims not. And what people need to understand about this ban is it's not just refugees, it's business people.
Yeah.
Look, I got people at Microsoft who now want to go do business in Europe. They can't leave America because they can't get back in.
Well, and we know that Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, has put out a statement in the last 24 hours, opposing this as well. But just to your point about this is a ban on Muslims, this is a veiled sort of religious discriminatory move. The Trump administration would point to the fact that Turkey is not included, a Muslim-majority democracy. Saudi Arabia is not included. Indonesia, where the most Muslims in the world live, is not included. You say to that?
Well, it doesn't change the fact that I have an American citizen who I met today at Seattle International Airport, whose husband left Vienna, was given approval to do so, and they stopped him after flying across the Atlantic. That's just inhumane. And this is just fear operating in our country. Right now I'm getting on the ferry boat to go to Bainbridge Island. Bainbridge Island was the first place where Japanese-American citizens were interned in World War II because our country succumbed to fear. We should not allow that happening again. We're seeing fear in action. It is going to damage our economy. It will damage our security. We've had 750,000 refugees come into our country from these areas since 9/11 with no fatal terrorist attacks. This is going to hurt our ability to do business around the world, and it's clearly a violation of the most fundamental concepts of religious liberty. And by the way, if you will look at the order, you will see that it basically says it's going to give priority to one religion over another.
It gives priority to Right. No, I have the language. I've read the entire thing. It gives priority to, provided the religion of the individual is a minority religion. So Christians, for example. I take your point. Let me ask you, Governor, one final question, and that is, legally speaking, the ACLU, for example, is in federal court in Brooklyn this hour challenging this. What legal challenges should we expect to see from the state of Washington on this?
So I just got off the phone with our Attorney General, who is tonight doing the briefing necessary to move forward. If we have standing to do this, we will challenge this in court. We're reviewing our options. This should not stand. Religious intolerance is foreign to our country, and all elected officials, I think, and all religions have a stake in this controversy. At the airport tonight in Seattle, there was a group of Jewish families and Hebrew children who recognized the threat to the fundamental values of this country by this action. They were standing there in support of a different religion. The refugee settlement group here is located in Washington State. This is a Christian organization. They are outraged by this because they understand we are all in threat when we lose track of who we are as a country. So I hope that the president will reconsider this at some point. If not, we need the Congress to step in. Everybody's got to work together if we're going to maintain our liberties in this country.
Governor Jay Inslee, I so appreciate you joining me tonight on what I know is a very busy night for you there in your home state. Thank you very much. We have much more ahead live here for us. We'll be right back.